All right, for our next lab, we're going to need several items from our kit. We're going to need the aluminum foil, a rubber band, and a paper clip. That's for some testing purposes later on. We're going to need the nail from your kit. You're going to need the compass, and you're going to need the medium length coil of wire. It should be about 1 meter long. You can use your tape measure to double check that, but there should be a shorter one, a medium sized one, and then a very long one in there. You're going to also need, from last week, you're going to need the battery pack, and you're going to need 2 of your wires to help connect this. You're also going to need a way to remove the rubber insulation from your wires. So if you look at the end of this wire, you can see that the insulation goes all the way to the end, and we need to expose that little bit of wire. The easiest way to do that would be to have a wire cutter if you have one, but if you don't, no need to panic. You can just use a regular knife. You just want to be a little careful when you do this so that you don't cut yourself. And the way I usually do it if I have to use a knife is that I go in, I want to expose a nice length. I just take it and I cut along the edge. Don't cut into it, obviously it's metal in the middle. And once I kind of get that cut, I can then pull the insulation off to the side. There we go. And it'll be like that, and then I can either take a scissors or I can just take my knife and cut that end off. And when I'm done, I will expose the little bit of wire there. So it should look like this, and you're going to want to do that to both ends. Once I have that done, I'm then going to want to just straighten my wire out a little bit, because I'm going to want to wind it around the nail. So if I take it, I leave just a little bit exposed so that I can connect to it, and then I just take my wire and I start, let me do it this way, take my wire and I start winding it around. Now you're going to want to put quite a few windings on here, so once you get a few on there that kind of get you going, just push them up against the end. You know, you want it to be fairly tightly wound. And you'll do that until you go along the length of the wire, length of the nail. And I have mine done over here. Feel like those cooking shows where the dish pops out. So here I have my nail wired up. So what we're trying to understand is, what does it mean to be an electromagnet? And so I need to provide electricity to this, and that's where the battery comes in. So I'm going to just hook up one end of my battery pack to one end of my trimmed wire. And then I'm going to connect the other wire to here, but I'm not going to immediately connect it to the other end of the wire here, because once you do that, you're going to drain the batteries pretty quickly, and this will get a little bit warm. So you want to be ready to do your experiment pretty quickly. So have everything set up, and then you're going to connect this wire to there for a few seconds. It's okay. You just don't want to leave it connected for a very long time. So I'm going to say, for example, be ready to test my magnet. Now I'll notice a little bit of an interaction, but that's happening because this magnet is iron and it got a little bit magnetized. So we're going to see a much stronger effect. So even if I go a little further away where I'm not seeing a big interaction and I connect my wire, notice my compass very quickly attracts. And since my red north is attracted here, this must be a magnetic south, and I could turn it around and indeed test that out. And again, I don't want to let this go too long or I'll drain the batteries out. So this will be your electromagnet, and you can explore the interaction with the rubber band, a paper clip, the aluminum foil, and you can explore the magnetic field of your thing a little bit. Now notice, and remember, depending on which way I wind this and which way I run the current through it, that will change this pole. So an interesting experiment would be to try is once you've tested it one way, is to take the wires and flip them so the black would be on the other end, or the black wire from here on the other end and the red wire on this end, and see what happens to your compass. So do some exploration and make a few notes, and we'll ask some questions on that.